Hello, Connell.
Hey there, Nichole. Someone say it's a busy day. Well, it is, and we're all over it. I mean, choose your own metaphor. Dominoes are falling, the dam is breaking. Whatever the case, President Biden today is hearing it from his own party. I mean, first we have these reports that 25 House Democrats are supposedly going to call on Biden to withdraw from the race after his devastating debate performance. On top of that, though, we have the New York Times reporting that Biden is weighing whether he should stay in the race. Now, the White House has been pushing back on that story today, saying it's not true, and the president himself, from what we understand, actually told his own campaign staff today he's in the race until the end and he plans to beat Donald Trump. But all that kind of thing has not been enough to stop the speculation about who would take the president's place at the top of the Democratic ticket. Much of the focus today has been on his vice president, Kamala Harris. You might even say, if you look at some of the numbers, that the vice president is kind of having her moment right now, emerging as the strongest alternative to Biden if he decides to drop out. But that is a big if right now. With all the rumors swirling, well, the president and the vice president today did sit down and have lunch together at the White House. The president is still set to meet this evening with a group of Democratic governors. So there's still a lot going on. And more on it now, live from the White House. NewsNation's Kelly Meyer joins us. So, we just wrapped up the briefing. We're watching with Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary. So there's a lot we could start with. But let's start with that New York Times report, if we can, and what you're hearing about it. Kelly.
Yeah, and she did respond to that directly during the White House briefing, Connell, and she said that these reports are false. And we're hearing it not only from the New York Times, but others saying that the president has been talking to aides and saying that if he doesn't get his message across the next couple of days, that these days are crucial to him staying in this race. The White House denying these reports, saying that they are false. We heard that from the White House press secretary and some other staff earlier today as they continue to push back that the president is going anywhere. She says he remains clear-eyed and focused on the job. Here's more from her just moments ago.
That is the president's focus. The president's focus is how does he continue to do that work? And anything else that we're hearing or that's being reported is absolutely false.
Yeah, and she was saying as well, asked questions about whether or not he had a cold. Was it was it travel that the president was saying last night? And she said she was focused on the cold answer as to why he performed as he did in the debate. But it was also due to travel, though there were 12 days between when he returned from his overseas travel and the debate happening. Plus, he had that week of debate prep at Camp David. So a lot happening in that briefing and a lot happening here at the White House today.
And much more still to come, right, with this meeting with the governors. I think some in person, some virtual. That's later on, right?
That's right. Yeah, you mentioned that there were all staff calls today. The president as well jumping on a campaign call to kind of give a pep talk to supporters. He'll also be giving somewhat of a pep talk to his Democratic governors that are going to be here at the White House today, along with some attending virtually. You could see a list there, over 20 governors. We know California Governor Gavin Newsom, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, they will be here. And these are all names that have been also floated as potential replacements for President Biden should he bow out of the race, but he will be here with them tonight. He contacted them after they got together on their own accord on Monday, we confirmed, and we're talking after what happened at the debate Thursday night. Connell.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. Kelly Meyer there in the North Lawn at the White House. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.